However, the team is still doing thorough investigations, and we shall keep you posted as the investigations go on.
But our vigilant members of the community made an alarm, and that is how police was informed, and they swung into action immediately. I want to commend the members of the community for being vigilant and for doing the needful to save the situation here. Otherwise, if they hadn't swung into action, the bank would have lost colossal sums of money. The other issue that I've noted with concern is that behind this building there are no cameras. So I think the bank erred when they didn't put cameras behind, and this has made our work very difficult. I was talking to a person in charge of the camera here at police, and he has told me that they cannot access just because there are no cameras behind there. Otherwise, if the cameras were there, it would have made our work very easy. Then the other issue is how power went off just within that proximity of time when thieves were attempting to break into this bank. That poses a very big question that needs to be answered. That just within that same period of time when the thieves were breaking into the bank, power checked. So, but whatever is required of us is being done. I'm happy you have had an engagement with the PRA of the region. We shall give you a comprehensive report as and when information is got. But in the meantime, police has embarked on investigations, and we shall give you a comprehensive report at an appropriate time. I want to appeal to the members of the community to be very vigilant as and when situations of this nature arise, that they should always get in touch with the police. If it wasn't for police, I am sure the situation wouldn't be as it is, because the police moved as fast as possible and got here.
za asimu ahawa Gntv Agarikwotsya
kwebembera orubaji oruhabura gavumenti omu ishengyero gwena w'esiine Sajo Olsenyonyi yaryo yashaba speaker w'ishengyero ngu ashoborre omugasho n'emirimo yaba assistant RDC heibine kuba nibakora yaba etiine kakwate naye ba deputy RDCs ebyona nabyabireta bwanyuma y'okushanga minisita w'enshonga z'ebyamakuru omu ihanga erya Uganda orikumanya ko omukyala Amile Babalanda okushohoza orukara rw'amazina ababatorinwe kuba ba assistant RDCs katubye
enyuma ho abashubuzi bo mu rembo rwa Kampala hamwe n'ebindi bicweka bakargayo no kwetombwito abatekaho na kesharingo bakinga n'amaduka gabo barukugira ngo emisoro etine cyere kumanyisa kandi etarukushoboroka ebatamire kandi abagwisiza akagwe nuko kurgayo bakesharinga barukugira government yerjeye bayambe ngo hakubaye ikintu no kigura okihera umusoro okisya umuduka yawe ogarika okira umusoro kandi okizana okiguza abantu okihera no gundi umusoro iki kikargayo cyagambisa abantu bingi abashubuzi bakuru babashubuzi abebembezi babashubuzi abebembezi batari bamwe na bamwe kandi kika nanaha abanyishengero mu parliamenti mbene bo abanyishengero abo bajora habra government bakargayo no kutera ahamutwe bari kugira ngo eki nikikorwa government kugira ngo eka koresa esente zo muhiwo mushoro batakumanya na hizur koretwa mbenu kutubenturga omurgeki izo barya nyumwazyo or minister w'enshonga z'ubwa mukuru w'ihanga rya Uganda Ogitini Amile Babalanda arigireyo yashoza icyandiko ari kugira ngo bwahati nibenda omuntu ori kuyambaho RDC omwete assistant RDC kanogo binoho na deputy RDC mbenu baba ryo mwishengero rya Uganda Ogitini Right Honorable Joel Olsenyonyi ogunorukura abo bazora habara government mwishengero rya Uganda yargayo no kubuza speaker w'ishengero ari kugira ngo nibenda bacenge ogwa assistant wa RDC na iza kuba aine mugasoki okwahukana na deputy RDC
on government expenditure. And like I was saying, that's a compelling argument. But while we are rationalizing to save taxpayers' money to cut down on government expenditure, here then comes another huge government expenditure that we need to understand, because you cannot preach water and then drink wine. What do I mean? You cannot say, let's rationalize, let's cut down on government expenditure. In the same breath, you are bringing in new people within the system that have got to be paid by the taxpayer. What sense does it make, Right Honorable Speaker? What role are the assistant RDCs going to play that RDCs and deputy RDCs cannot play? We need to have a good understanding of that, Honorable Speaker.
Owekitiinisa Right Honorable Joel Senyonyi yashaba uri speaker w'ishengero okugira ngo abashobore omurimo gw'aba assistant ba RDC gwaba guryogwe ogulinko gwaba kalisholisho wa government ninga kalisholisho wa government bambenda kumuyaho okugira ngo bakatekaho assistant wa RDC.
The Minister for the Presidency has said in her communication that the assistant RDCs are going to play 3 roles. Number 1 is to promote patriotism. Number 2 is to carry out mobilization. And number 3, to fight corruption. We need to be helped to understand whether now assistant RDCs are taking over the work of the Inspectorate of Government, because there seems to be a lot of duplication. Also, if you're saying they are meant to carry out mobilization, for what exactly? Is it mobilization for the NRM, mobilization for Parliament, mobilization for what exactly? This needs to be broken down.
Right Honorable Joel Senyonyi yargaye no kwereka utashemerwa bwe bwo kurgayo no kuzuriza constitution yihanga rya Uganda ari kugira ngo bine kucenga ahabwa ki Uganda riyo nesisha esente zo muhiwo mushoronka bati.
And finally, Right Honorable Speaker, when you read section 70 of the Local Governments Act, it provides for the caliber of people that should be appointed RDC. That's the legal provision. But by extension, we can cascade that down to anybody occupying or within the office of the RDC. Section 70 provides that these are meant to be people of high moral integrity, people whose conduct is not questionable. One of the people that have been appointed to this position, which we are yet to fully understand as assistant RDC, is Ewaniga Chisacha Mukama. This person has been posted as assistant RDC to Gomba district.
Ahabwa Gntv Agarikwotsya ndikirinto nawe aha parliament.
Kampala Central Gwen Honorable Muhammad Saleko yargaye abasa kubana shabo muhoreza wa government hamwe na Minister wa Public Service okurga kashobora anshunga izakachiko agakorambarira isente za Uganda Saleko yashaba Attorney General go okushobora sente ez'ekitongore ekya National Planning Authority zahiwe n'umurimo oguziriyo muskora katubire. Orgo muhoreza wa government yanga ya Uganda yargaye no kushohoza ekipapara arukoreka sente ezirukwetagisa ministry y'ebye sente hamwe na necho eyembarira ninga shiyo jete physical planning omwihanga ryitweri erya Uganda.
Honorable members, can you sit? Can we hear from LOP?
Wor mukuru wor bazora habara government omwihanga erya Uganda kiyaheza kurechi yargayo no kutabukira Anthony General ogunwo muhoreza wa government yanga erya Uganda arukumbuza ngo sente nezachi ngo argeyo ashobore ngwabo kubana bareba eshura bushura ngo tubakumanya ikizuru kumanyisa ngumwe nargeyo ashobore sentezi ezikuzakuza kana nezikuza kurga.
And budgetary implications. There will also be costs expected from absorption of functions performed by the National Population Council and National Physical Planning Board into the structures for National Planning Authority. What are those costs, Deputy Attorney General? Because you mentioned them, and this is a certificate signed by the Honorable Matia Kasaija, Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development. In the other, you've given us a breakdown. But in this one, you've just given us a heading. What are the costs? Because you're conceding that there will be costs expected from the absorption. What are which ones? There are figures.
Kanu wariyo mnyishenjero wa Kampala ya rwagati wachitinesa Honorable Muhammad Saleko nawe yargayo arukubuza omugasho gwitekeri erbarmu mbenda kuhinguza erya National Planning Authority arukugira ngo ngiza kubandu korachi ngo kandi ekibenchi kora omugashogo cyo kigiye hi.
The National Planning Authority's cardinal role is advising on economic, macro and micro policy of a country. The role of the National Physical Planning Board is particularly on land use, management and distribution of resources. How will history judge us? That we sat here to merge responsibility from a physical planning body to an economic macro and micro planning authority.
Honorable Muhammad Nsereko yagumiza muno kutabukira Minister wa Public Service ngwargeyo ashobore omugasho gwa National Planning Authority nuguha ngwa kubabomba koroko kwabuzabuza.
Now let's look for all the justifications that you would borrow, Minister of Public Service. Is it that there is expertise in the National Planning Authority for land use, management and distribution? When one, under the National Physical Planning Act, we clearly stated that the role of this is to be used as a precursor for land registration, land use, land management and land redistribution.
Wechitinisa Muhammad Nsereko yagumiza muno kwereka okwetomwitwa kwe ari kujangwe takachenjire chebra kumanyisa ngwako buri muntu ari kuza kwimuka kugamba na imuka ari kwagira Anthony General kandi bo barya kubuza omugasho gwa National Planning Authority nkonka buri muntu na imuka ari kwesigama ahacha Anthony General.
In performance of your duties, you're guided by a board. It's not a mere roof. Sharing a roof or sharing working premises can be done. You can even have all ministries work in one area. So I understand your issue. But the issue here are the functions. You see, if you say, I move my functions, because your functions are perfectly well prescribed through the performances of the board, you report to a given board. You understand what I'm saying? And meaning definitely your managerial functions become limited by your performance and your constitution. I mean, you can argue against that today. We had similar arguments before in 2010, but you realize that people on the National Physical Planning Board have given expertise that people at the National Planning Authority do not have.
Ahabwa Gntv Agarikwotsya ndikirinto nawe aha parliament.
Abebembezi batari bamwe kandi n'abatura okurwa muri Cyengera bagire bayureko kwatwaho aha warguto rwabo urugero rukabomoka kandi bagumize mbacumintereza kakomo abarukore ngotezi bakugira ngo burijo kwakutunga ebizibu nibija bakoraho kace haza kwakire ezinguto zigaragaza bomoka ko kushaka government n'ebitongore bikore nguto kurengo hati babatangire gukora urugutorwe barebeke ngo barukora turwagaga guteganisirwa nangwa no mwishura no kwamisi katubire.
Aha ruguto rukurga Kampala kuzamasaka abarukurukoresha abatura hamwe n'abebembezi bo mu cyangecho na mnonga nk'abacengera bariyo nubaragangira ko man barra omukano mu kibira nabatera intoma hansi barukweta government ngwerije abayambe bwanyuma y'China kurgayo kikabaruka hagati yo ruguto gwekirukuretwaho amizi mingi mnonga agatire ortindo ngakarukora kubi mbwenu bo abatura bargayo no kura barukushaba government ngwe bayambe ngwakobwa hati na boda boda hebene batwara 12 hati ne bashaba na nomutwaro gumwe
kuva boda tukonko malide wano boda batuletera 12 mpaka na bingo kati yagala mutwalo kubate bayina kubate n'eryeri lyabotose
kati tuli mu kutambula butambuzi tetukoze abana bagenda bagoba kati faba wansi tukoze tutya.
Abasubuzi bali mu kwekalakasa tebakyayingiza ssente tubali tulowooza nti eno wiiki tunaatandika okukola ate amakubo geegonoonese so eggwanga liri mu mbeera eswaza.
Ssente ababoda bazongeddemu ne bebasaba ne bazisana bo tebazirina.
Ebisale byeyongeddeko kubaana okuvaana ekyengero ogenda ensangi tubadde tutwaliyewo 12 naye kati tumutwaliye 4.
Osobola kuddira Masaka Road n'ogireka n'ebeera mu mbeera bweti. Amakubo agaluliikiriza kino kye tubadde tubagamba lero ku government sente ze yandikozesezza okulaba nga amakubo ago galikiriza oluguudo luno nago mafu
ate emere mu kyalo bagiseera transport aluwagulu kati yo tandise kwengerera wano bana basoma banange government mutuyambe tubakubira omulanga mutuyambe kubanga embeera itulumu embi nnyo ndi wano maze wenda ku 2
bananyini emmere baje baginone waawo kisobola okukomawo nkanikemu kubanga yayinonesedde emmotoka
kubanga kati fe ab'ensene naffe tusirani zinaayitawa kitegeeza eziva emityana ze munaali ezaffe eziva emasaka katuzeeriire era kakati nze wondabira nzizeeyo
ne banaakola amakubo naye nga entobazi baziyiwemu ettaka abagagga bayiye mu ntobazi ettaka nga nema bamanyi eno gavumenti eringa bw'onoobeera n'omwana nga mulwadde ng'omulala ayagala lugoye lwa kuza mazaalibwa ge n'okwata sene n'oziwa omwana agenda agula olugoye olw'amazaalibwa ge.
Mwenu w'emmeeya wa division eyakyengera Owekitinisasa Mathias Warukaga yaragayo n'okusaba gavumenti ng'ekorese omusoro gw'abantu gwakuheereza ngwakuba abantu boona bakukoresa oruguuto oru ebimotoka naki nibikoresa omusoro.
Abantu bawa omusoro buli motoka eyita ku luguudo luno esasula eyina license buli business eyita ku luguudo luno n'olwekyo sente zonna zigenda ludda.
Mathias Warukaga yaragayo n'okuteera ekiina omu gavumenti arikugira ngu nibakyerereza okukora enguuto bazo mu kwetooroora za budgeti nka mukaaga zoona ng'obwa hati enguuto zoona zisiisikire abantu biine oruguuto rwona orw'okukoresa oyihireho kuraba rworu rwa Kampala Masaka.
Singa Nakawuka road baali bamukola azze ng'ayita mu budget singa mukaaga ez'enjawulo yalwadde kati ng'abantu balina buzibu nga basala busazi Nakawuka Mpigi nga bakola ki naye kati abantu abava Masaka bana bayita ne Kasenge kati ayonoonese takyayitikako nene Nabbingo nakakolawo jjo nawo wayonoonese.
Kandi bo abakugu omu by'okukora enguuto nabo baarigayo n'okugira eki basobora aha nguuto ezi.
Naye tugenda kuteekawo embeera y'okukola kuddamu okukola kuteekawo gundi enene box culverts kulaba nti ziteera bulungi. Kintu kivudde ku enkozesa y'ettaka lyaffe nga bwe liri. Olaba abasinga bwe bakolera wano pipe zibaali bataddeko zaali zimala bulungi nga wonna wanjadde bulungi nga amazzi geyanjala gagenda mpolampola.
Wabadde olutobazi abantu bazimbyewo amazzi gonna bakati gafuuse bagawadde omwala gumu mwe mwennyini we bagenda bafunza olutobazi luno muba mulaba nti gye bujja olutobazi luno engeri abantu gye bazze nga bakola ki baluyiwamu ettaka kitegeeza gye bujja amazzi gano gagenda kuyita waggulu w'oluguudo n'olw'ensonga eyo twandibadde twanguwa ne tugaziya emyala egiri wansi w'oluguudo naye wadde mukirabye nga kijja ne mukireka.
Amazzi ago w'otagawa kkubo wansi eyo ku mmotoka enzito awo nawo wakka wotaddeyo hadikowoyo ng'omupanze bulungi n'omubikka amazzi g'ensula ago obutalinnya waggulu awo nawo wakka. Manya nti motoka enzito 45 buli lwebegenda empola obuzito bwayo bwonna butuula lw'ebintu ebisookerwako ng'okola oluguudo n'omanya nti oluguudo luno ngenda kulukola naye amazzi gakuŋŋaanira wa. Ekirala oluguudo luno ngenda kulukola nkoze soil test. Oluguudo luno ngenda kulukola mpimye ettaka buli meters 2 okumanya enfaanana yaalyo. Oluguudo luno ngenda kulukola mu migga ne waggulu ku nsozi wakolebwa batya amazzi wawe gasinga okutambulira.
Mu myaka actually 2 oba 3 tujja kuba tufunye obuzibu wakati wa Masaka wakati wa Mpigi ne Busega ne tugamba nedda katukole alternative route express ya Busega Mpigi twaji planning eberenge wedde 2019 naye ate 2019 procurement bwe yaggwa kati alternative route endala okuva Mpigi egwa Nakawuka okudda Natete naye twaji planning adira ne tumanya nti erina okubeerawo naye oluguudo lwa Nakawuka Mpigi bakandoza Prime Minister Nabbanja yakalwa flagging off.
Bridges wezigwa obuba bulagajjavu bwa kuzikebera kuddamu kuzikebera kubanga bridge esibibwa na byuma ate zino emikutu egyo egiyisa amazzi nga mu migga nakinaki gikolebwa na culverts ate culverts nazo omutayitamu kuyisaamu motoka kuyoolamu bintu bikutte ate nazo kitegeeza nti culverts ze mwateekayo ennya nga zisobola okutwala amazzi ago mu bungi bwazo zikendeera ne zifuuka haafu emu ne zibikira neggwawo ne zisigala 2 amazzi ne gayita waggulu. Kati amazzi bwe gayita waggulu kitegeeza compaction eri gye mwakola waggulu etalina kufuna mazzi etandika okufuna amazzi kitegeeza nti motoka enzito bwenejja ejja kusanga ettaka lino ligonda yo erinyige bunyizi etuuke ku kaluvati eyatike.
Aha bwa GNTV Agarikwotsya ndi Clinton
hanyuma y'akabonero tujagaragara n'ekicweka kya kabiri otari Agarikwotsya.
is GNTV, releasing life.
Luhanga akantola abakuni muliyo turiyo murira muta mwene mukazi wako kundeba nkondi habaire hoje owanje bworo biremereye kwabo mushija bwabe cyo kunyamira mwene jensi ko kunde
ha ese musayi ndo ngatumira kusera mukazi w'urugambo nkubanduro nde
ayo mambe nyumwa misasira nanjire kwebuza mukazi mutaywan
otumonyola
mwamisha yambe bantu barebaza kwitanira
apana musayi ndoto neka yawe mu rugo murwari mbararaho kazako ekisha kuba yambebeze bukebi nibashangwa mu rembo rwa mbarara proti ya Mwenda Garage Street opposite na Easy View Complex bino bohereza bwo kubika no kuyayo sente za wabwabusha bino bohereza bwa mobile money bahereza float na cash kandi nibahereza loan abantu bona nka school fees loan business loan zo gura boda boda loan zo gura mataka amwene z'abahinje n'abarisa kwenda kumanyebe kucara hotela zuro mushanzu 535 cyenda na mushanju mbararaho kasako twatere hamwe ukwetunguro mbientasi
Apostle Abeli Katambala owa Kiswahili Full Gospel Church Lugazi South Mbalala City sakababulizi benjiri mu Western Uganda yonna batuyita fenna okwetaba mu lukungano lubawo buli mwaka olutuumiddwa Let My People Go leka abantu bange bagende lutandika ku Lwokubiri nga 23 okutuusa ku Lwokutaano nga 26 awo ku kanisa wennyini eya Kiswahili Full Gospel Church Lugazi Mbalala City okuva essaawa 2 ez'okumakya okutuusa saa 12 ez'olweggulo mujje tujaguze nga twebaza ekisa Mukama kyatulaze wamu n'okwekumira mu kukkiriza tusuba ababuulizi ab'enjawulo wamu n'obubaka bwe batuleetedde omuli Pastor Fred Wantanti okuva e Kampala ku Makerere Full Gospel Church saako ne Apostle Jonathan Male okuva e Kampala ku Petra Full Gospel Church buli kimu kitegekeddwa bulungi eri kwagenda okujja ebyokulya awo okusula byonna byakoleddwako dda bannange tusuba olukuŋŋaana luno okuva nga 23 kutuusa nga 26 ku Kiswahili Full Gospel Church Lugazi Mbalala ewa Apostle Abeli Katambala.
New Ways Health Limited abali kushangwa Mbarara enyuma ya Pelican Hotel aha chombeko cha Zakaria ground floor room number ya kashatu ebaretire mubazi eyo mulembe kandi ebakolire shande nyamulungi eya New Ways Health drink ekyokunywa kyo mutano tichiri marwa tichiri mu food color kandi kiri 100% natural chikozirwe cardamom seeds cloves raisins hibiscus inanasi hamwe na rosemary. New Ways erimu ebirisa ebirukomeko mubiri nka zinc, fiber, potassium, calcium, magnesium, vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin B12, iron na antioxidants kandi chamizibwe aba UNBS okumanya biri kukiraho batera hasi muzabo ezi 0 01 abirnina ningashi 0 abirnina.
Izoba yona na Uganda yona kutwariza hamwe Kashali Farm Resort niyo hoteli yihorere yorabasa kubonererwa mu businje bwawe okatebenkaniramu ahasigara ukagumurije eco buraro bakaciheza bine deluxe cottages ezora nyamamu weno katebenkana swimming pool oragwa mu mizi dibi oruge mudobi bine gym oraza yona nura magufka weno gumori fit okujanga amagaraga ugatebenkane bine steam na sauna bine ba chef abakugu abara kutekera cha mushana chachiro hamwe na breakfast bine conference hall orenda korera yenchiko bine garden zinunje munonga orakorera yembaga bine bizaniso by'abana bato bouncing castle Kashali Farm Resort erashangwa mutonto Rubaya Mbarara district okwenda kumanya birachiraho shengura noti 2 noti chenda 10 na mwene na noti mushanju noti 8 shanju na mushanju noti 2 Kashali Farm Resort niyo hoteli erasinga yihorere gamba nokora.
This is GNTV, releasing life.
bwanyuma y'akatambi kamwe hono kurugayo kakatambura aha mikutu etari emwe n'emwe yakamagezi karikwereka abeka bariho mbatera omwana w'obwishiki obu barikumutora okurugayo kuza aha kanisa okushaba hona obwahatiya karugire kagambisa bingi kandi n'enshonga ezo abikirikukwataho bazitahamu kandi abamwe hiine abarigye bakakwatwa abalisa okwetorera district ya Kibuku hono bwahatiya barugayo n'okwimukira mu nshonga ezo kandi omwishiki ogu yabasa kurugayo n'okucungurwa kandi akarugayo yaterwa kipoko nyamwingi ezarugireyo zikagambisa abanya-Uganda esaba itaisitira amabega omu kuganiraho n'omwishiki ogu hono yarugayo n'okutugira ngu abazaire beye nibakora emirimo yariija nahabwekyo bakarugayo yatandika kuturana anko beye kandi abarigye bakamutera obu barikumutura okuza aha kanisa akashaba.
Shakira Naula. Aitonia nani?
Siraji
Kalai. Kaso mama?
Mama Safina Najuka.
Osobola okutubalisirya ku abantu abawukubireko abakoiza ababeire mu video abawukubire niyo nana soka
zaidi haji koizo Sumana Machobe koizo Fazali koizo Maazi koizo Kim
kaiso no omukali abeire mu oye niyo nani niyo ziyada omwetotya
mama
mtomto bakubire ensonga ki
yakusaba
walokokere di
nalokokere lwali lunaku
lwakusatu wike waire
malire
mweri omusumba niyo nani
omusumba wange tata wange
Nicholas omama aliyeina
mama alinza
niyo nana malinage
niyo Safina Najuka
kaiso baba
Siraji Kalai
baba yakola mulimo ki
baba sula mushere kulima so maido watermelon ikote sula mushere ngatwala ngakolesha
abaganda bibo bali
abaganda bange bali Kampala
iwo namba yakumeka mu baganda
nzaniza first born family ya
first born
abalisa butabasaganiraho nabo hona barugayo n'okutugira ngo bwahatiya enshongezi polisi yabaze kuzitahamu kandi RDC na DPC aba district ya Kibuku no barije bakazitahamu kandi abo bona barije bakamutera ba anko b'umushiki bakwasirwe kandi bari mu kihome okubuzwa kana nakatana akatano muhamoro okubaza kugaba bwenki babenu batera omwana nangwa no kumuremesa okushaba no kusherura ruhanga weyi
tugenze ku ground tukwata ba suspects.
We have arrested the suspects.
Omwana w'obwana naye tumusanzeewo.
We have got even the girl.
Ekinewunyiza omwana abadde bold.
Even what has surprised us that the girl was bold.
Twebaza Katonda nti kati aba suspects bali mu mikono gya police.
Now God that the suspects are in our hands.
Era tugenda nabo Kibuku.
And we are going with them in Kibuku.
Omwana w'obwana tugenda kusigala naye.
The girl we are going to remain.
Agenda kusigala ebidaka.
And she's going to remain.
Era nsaba tubenga tuvaayo tusobola okujjanjaba omwana ono ng'abasumba.
Request us all the pastors to help this girl.
Nsaba ntuweze ku ssente.
Send some money.
Omwana tutagenda kuddayo waabwe.
She will not go back home.
Okusinziira embeera ebaddewo.
For the condition which was there.
Batukubidde n'enduulu nga tugenze okubakwata.
They were even alarming to us when we were
mukitegeera kubanga baba abantu babakubidde enduulu.
You can understand if someone has
Katonda tuvuddeyo.
we have all come back.
N'essaawa tugenda naye mu ddwaliro tugenda Budaka tugenda mu ddwaliro wetuwetukulaakulaa. So twebaza Katonda olw'ekyo Mukama abampera omukisa mwena abatusabidde mwena mulinnya
Tomulundi gw'okubanza abaana omundu omu ihanga lya Uganda okurugayo bakaterwa ningashi bakatuntuzibwa obwe barikubatirwa obugabe bwabo okuremesebwa okushoma nabamu okuremesebwa okukora ebintu bitari bimwe na bimwe kandi polisi etwire nerwanisa ebintu ebi
ali ukukuba nani ololengeyo
biza asima kajese ahabwa GNTV Agarikwotsya
cha National Unity Platform elizoba barugayo bagamba nshonga ya polisi okujawunija kutandika kukwata abo abarije kubanu bajwara obukofiira bagira ngo polisi wahati erugire ahakora emirimo y'eshemerwa n'ekora yagaruka nshonga ezitari kugasira abanya-Uganda katubirebe
Bwanyuma ya polisi omundu omuyangire ya Uganda okorgayo kakatemya abantu bona kuneija kwija kumanya kwata omwaryomo abari abo bakujwara obugofira bwa National Unity Platform ndingashi zo kampani z'ebyokwerinda ez'obuntu zirikorgayo zikatungisa emyenda erikushana nk'eya polisi nangwa n'ebijwaro ebikwano bishana n'ebya polisi kugira ngo neija kubakwata kandi ebafubire ahabw'okugira ngu abantu bajwara ebikushana na polisi.
So tugenze tulaba nti babounce abamu ebibiina bimwe eby'ebyobufuzi n'aba private security guards beyongedde okufulumya uniforms ezeefaananiriza n'entunga nga olabira ddala bakopperera n'entunga eya uniforms zino naddala zino eza black ezikozesebwa ekitongole ekya counter terrorism ekirwanisa n'okuziyiza ebikolwa eby'obutujju mu ggwanga. Waliwo ne kaki ng'eno mulimu aba private security abatungisa kaki ng'eno.
Erianya Kazoba omunyamakuru w'iti yaragayo yatunga akagisha kandi yaganira n'abanyishingiro batari bamwe na bamwe bakorwa mu kibiina eky'orubaju orahabura government omundu omuyangire ya Uganda ekirikumanywa kya National Unity Platform ningashi NUP kandi baragayo n'okushekerera polisi bakugira ngu omwanya guyakube nekora ebikugiyamba nangwa n'ebikuleeta obusinge omu ihanga ngo bo bariho bagenda ahari abo abantu abakujwara obugofira bwa NUP. Abanyishengero ahaba harimu Efernalima nangwa n'omunyishengero kumanywa nka Shami Malende hona nangwa na Alan Mayanja baragaye no kugira ngo polisi ebyero nekora bwa hatiya tekabimanyire kurungi kandi hone hindikiremo cyo kushekerwa n'abanyayuganda bingi batanje kugishekerera obutosha ngo kandi eyine kurgaye katandika gukora emirimo yayo.
Unya polisi obatayina byakola kubanga olwaliro bongamba nti oli mu kunoonya abambadde obukofiira 100 wababaza otya tandikira kufa abaka ba parliament nze ndi wano ku parliament kubanze nkambala mu constituency ne ku TV bajje basooke kufe ate mu banoonyezaawo olwedde wano ku parliament werawo nga 5 abo bwambala
tulabanga abafuusa obufuusi bakazanyiikiriza nti kati guno omuzannyo gwakola victimization tebabeera balinawo be bandyagadde okutwala nga beekwasa nti bambadde obukofiira. Ekituufu kiri nti polisi n'ebitongole bikomadde balina okutandika okukola ekituufu nga basinziira ku mateeka kikyegogera. Wano bo bennyini juuzi omwami yabadde akambadde bulungi ng'asabira mbu bata aba NUP naye ng'ayimiridde mu maaso gaki g'oyo gwasaba nti abate tulaba tebalina kye bamukoze. Kakati nabo bennyini mu mutima gwabwe babeera bakimanyi nti okwambala kakofiira ku sse musango twewuunya abantu baffe baba bafa nabo baaki.
Tukooye okutubuzaabuza kubanga polisi ya Uganda etulage wa weyagazeetingira enkofiira ya NUP kubanga mumanyi bulungi nnyo etteeka lya copyright, mumanyi bulungi nnyo amateeka ne bw'okyusaako bukyusa kagambo kamu eyo enkofiira eba eyawukana naye batuleetere we bagazeetingira enkofiira ya NUP nti enkofiira n'obugambo bwonna obuliko nkofiira yaabwe.
Polisi obutosha hone twirenergayo n'okurabura abanyayuganda okurekeraho gumano batungisa emyenda erikushana nabo nangwa n'okujwara ebintu bitari bimwe na bimwe ebikweshanasana bya polisi bakugira ngu ekyo nikireetera abantu abamwe barigayo n'okubihabiha kuna ba polisi kandi obu batari ba polisi kandi oshanga batanka kwiba abantu n'okubibaho sente zaabo. Zasima Kagesa ahabwa GNTV Agarikwotsya.
Gavumenti yaragayo yashaba abebembezi okushyira munonga aba rubanda okutandika okurebuka ngu bashemeza n'okutendeka abatwa ng'obundi bakabasa kubana buni beteekateekera okwegetera omu programs n'engenterekanisa ziratume bayetungura kandi omurango ogu gwagaruka gwateerwa n'abantu bonna abari okutuura omu Rubanda district. Katubire
ekika ky'abantu ekirikumanywa nk'ekyabatwa obwahata abakutuura omu byalo ebirimu ekyakagano kagerera rwamahano nangwa n'omukyalo ekirikumanywa nk'ekya rwabulindi ebyo nebikushangwa omugomboro erikumanywa nk'eya muko omu district ya Rubanda hona barigayo n'okwimusiira karyabo n'okugambira abo boona bikirikwataho kubabaasa kuguma nibateekaho emishomo aha marwariro gatari gamwe na gamwe okugira ngu obundi bakabasha kushomesa abantu aba ababatwa aha ngeri bakubaasa kwerinda mwenda zibateteekateekire engeri bakutwaza mu bintu by'ombonano nangwa n'ebyo byonna ebirikwata by'amagara. umurango guhona ngwijaho ubwanyuma yabikira kwataho kurgaye bakatebekanitsaho mushomo mu district eje ya Rwanda ogube gugenderire okushomesa abantu bona ababatwa mu kubasa kwetantarenda zibateteka tekire nangwa no kubasa kureba okwakutwaza mu magara gabo nangwa no kwetantare bibyonna ibikorwa by'ubwo bukaba okugira ngo bundi bakabasa kumanya amateka gabo no kubakuzara abana n'abarazare okora bene bingana Echari cy'ukumanga cyaro amahano Honda mu district ya Rwanda okutwara hamwe n'umucyangi cya Kigezi nicyo cy'ukumanywa ngecyaro ekina abantu bingi ababatwa kandi aba bakargombevera ebyabembe manywa ke byabwinde ecuya kanangwa n'icya mugahinga umucyangi cya Kigezi obu government yargayo ikaba bingayo Amos tugumisiriza mu kuganira n'umunyamakuru witu honogo rugambera abatwa yargaye no kugira ngo obwa hati y'abatwa abantu betaga ekintu cy'amani okurwasa kurgayo kandi hona bakashomesebwa ahanshonga bakabasa kutwaza mu bintu byo bukaba okugira ngo bunde bakabasa kwetantarenda zibateteka tekire nangwa n'abana okushangana bashorera abakiro bato.
When we talk about sexual reproductive health access among the Batwa communities, they don't receive any access to health education at all. The reason, these are the minority group that are still vulnerable and they are in hard to reach areas. When you count the distance from our area where the Batwa live to the nearest health facilities, there is a long distance.
Tugumisirize hona yayongera no kugira ngo bwa hati y'abatwa abo kugira ngo engendo ningwa munonga okubasa kutambura ku rugoma kagabo kuza ahamarwaro obwa hati yandu bargayo batungo buremezi butari bumwe na bumwe omubyenda nangwa no mu bindi bintu ebirimo byo mbonana abo kugira ngo nubatino gumana batambura okuzokwe hare okutungo bujanjabe.
The minority Batwa, the youth and even the women, they are looked at as cheap sex access people. They just, because for the Batwa you just buy a cake of 5,000 and just wallage this alcohol of 5 or 1,000 and you take her in the bush. Even you don't need to look for a lodge, you sleep with her. So that's why currently we have majority of the young girls of 13, 14, at age of 14 and 15, they are pregnant. And because they are survival, mostly it is sex for food, sex for survival, and they don't have access to sex education, that sexual productive health services. It is lacking in our community.
Scovia tumuhise ogoryo mushaho ahirwaro irukumanyankiriya mukohore sente yakana hona yargayo no kugira ngo abatwa nubatino kwija ahamarwaro gabo kandi hona nubajanje babatwa bake munonga abo kugira ngo nubatina kutambura ingendo ningwa kandi kikuretera aba batashomesebwa nangwa no kumanya okuba kutwaza mu bintu ebirumo byo mbonano no kwerinda ndenda zibatetika tekire.
They don't usually come to seek health care or especially sex education because they lack information, like they get early teenager pregnancies and they die there silently because they don't know the impact of early sex. So I see there is a big gap. We have to have like community visits. We do community visits, we reach them and give them sensitization.
Alabataremwa ogwo or mukuru w'ekitongore ekirumanga cyaroko Sustainable Communities Organization ekiresera mushomo mu cyangeki hona wo mukuganiraho aha mushomo gwa rije no kujya government neje kurgayo eteke mu kasente kandi eteke hone bibyo nebikwetagisa okurgayo kandi bakashomesa batwa okwa hansi yona ehibaro mu cyange cyakigeze.
Engagements for advocacy, especially on sexual reproductive health, are intended also to include the Batwa in the Batwa communities, because these are the minority groups that have been left behind for a long time. They are not exposed to any information about sexual reproductive health. We got an example of someone who was impregnated at 12 years. Today, she's going to give birth for the third child at 16. That is very, very painful, and we think we are going to reach out to those communities as well. That's why we started with Rwanda, and we have partners in those areas. We are going to engage with them and also the existing structures of the government, especially the health centers.
Zasimagajes ahawa Gntv Agarikwotsya.
Mnonga desire agongote batwenero mabazigo kandi bareguma ha Gntv nandi basaka nkwasa barare kurunji.